gentlemen, welcome to Casting the Spotlight episode number 132.
Hell yeah.
And we sit here again today with a follow-up solo for our solo effort last week. Heavy wrestling episode.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's pretty common whenever it's a solo. It's
It is. We got to catch up on our passions and our interests.
mutual interest we know quite a bit about, so it's always easy to go back in the basket, pull that back out. Wrestling's always an easy topic.
It is.
And hell, it's fun to talk about.
It is. No
Guarantees. We don't talk about it this time.
And Star Wars is, and The Walking Dead is, horror movies are. There's a lot of topics that just gravitate our way more often than not,
Yeah.
And there are things that are always coming out with more and more content, you know what I mean? I mean, to survive in this world now, you got to create content.
Yeah.
So,
That's
a lot of competition.
I'm trying, man. It's hard. There's so much content nowadays. That's the thing. Everybody can make content. You know what I mean? Like, we do our thing. We have our content, but I mean, I feel like it's just kind of an important thing for people to do anyways, even if that's what I think about, like, with the podcast and with, writing blogs over old, obscure horror movies that a lot of people probably don't even know about anyways. Like, at the end of the day, people are going to read them, listen to them, whatever they're going to do, or they're not. It's fun to do. It's important. If it's important to you, that's really all that matters. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
If you put the work into it and you show up and you make it happen, it's really what matters.
We brought in 49 individuals on this podcast at one time or another, or multiple times.
One away.
So up to this point,
on the big 5.
we basically got a Casting the Spotlight party of people that have been part of the show,
Yeah.
Be a unique time if everybody was in the same place.
all of our guests at a party.
Yeah.
We should do it. And just be the Casting the Spotlight.
That would be wild.
You'd have to have it'd be a special guest list. You'd have to be on the guest list.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm sorry, you can't bring your date. You can't bring your wife. I'm sorry. She was not on the podcast.
Nope. That's like counting us, it's 51 people. That's it.
Yeah.
But we've mixed it up with some of the best in here, Some of the most entertaining people we know.
It's kind of wild to think that we've talked to 49 different people on here,
Mm-hmm.
How the hell did that happen?
I'm not sure. Who's going to be the lucky number 50 who has not appeared, Fuck, we're just talking about it on air. But it's coming. So is our 5-year anniversary, folks.
Be a new guest. Maybe we could, I don't know. That's no guarantees, no promises there, because we kind of talked about that off air.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we could have a new guest for 50, but
we'll see.
We'll
see.
That'd be tough. 5-year anniversary, new guests, no 50th.
I know
guest.
it would have to
be.
It would have to be somebody that, has the.
It's Hulk Hogan,
it is.
Bro. We gotta bring Hulk Hogan in.
It is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? They could easily, somebody could step into that role, I feel like, if they needed to, that hasn't been on.
Yeah. I mean, anybody could. It's not like there really is that added pressure. It's just
because
that you put it on yourself.
When they come on, it's their episode. It's not, oh shit, this is the 150. They're not necessarily thinking of the numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody really has even asked, other than the few people that have said, oh, hey, if I could be this number, that'd be great, blah, blah, blah. And that's only happened like 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And that just happened to kind of work out, like the way it worked out. It wasn't too far off, or we didn't have to make too many moves to make it happen. It just kind of fell into place for some of them, so I'm like, okay. But we'll see, because the 5 years not going to be like a number that's going to be too significant for one reason or another. It's going to be 134 or 35 or probably 36. But regardless, it's coming. June 10th, 2019 was the first date that we recorded a single session on Casting the Spotlight. It wasn't even Casting the Spotlight yet. But we did record, and that was considered our number 1.
Damn.
And number 2, we didn't have the name. Number 3, we established the name.
What were we calling it at the beginning?
We weren't really calling it anything. We just didn't have a name yet. We're just like, oh, we're just gonna do one.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
And then
the real old times, man.
And then 5, we released all the ones from before, except obviously the first one, which is to this day never have been released.
5, yeah, number 5 was a big moment for us.
Yeah, that was like the launching pad episode that we used was 5.
Yeah.
And we put out 3 and 4, released 6 and 7, and then we're able to revive episode 2 and put that out there out of order, but it's still out there. And then just kind of go from there. 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, and so on. But anyway, yeah, episode 132 tonight.
Hell yeah.
One of our last episodes of May.
Dyslexic way to count 1, 2, 3. 132.
It is. It's coming though, you know, one way or another. But damn, you want to jump in? Sure, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I'm down.
We might as well. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
You can go first if you want.
Yes.
The old shits. That was probably unnecessary. All the yes, but what the fuck was that? But I'm ready.
All right. What do we feel about motivated coworkers in a workplace? Because I'll tell you right now, look, I'm not going to try to go too detailed with it. It ain't all y'all. I don't know if anybody from any of my jobs listens to this, so I'm going to try to keep this pretty, you know.
Vague?
Yeah. But, like, dude, sometimes at Pizza Hut, I don't, it could just be me. I wonder, too, if it's just a me thing. That it feels like, because I you know, deliver Friday nights, and it's after I worked a week running a trash route anyways. It's my Friday evening. It's the end of my work week. It's the last thing I do in my work week before the weekend. So I'm usually itching to be done by the time it's time to be done. And I just feel like some of my coworkers in there sometimes, I'm just like, are you trying to do everything you possibly can to piss me off tonight? Or is it a me thing? They could just be loud as fuck or just unmotivated as fuck. And it's not all of them. But it's just like, or just super slow and then just trying to leave early. It's like, you cannot be a bad worker and try to leave early. That can't fucking happen.
Yeah.
If that is what you're doing at Pizza Hut, of all fucking jobs, I hope you don't have motivation to do anything more in your life. Because it ain't happening. If you can't handle working 4 hours at a fucking Pizza Hut, you're not going to do shit.
Did you consider yourself a motivated worker?
I didn't really think that I was. I didn't give myself that much credit. I didn't think I was unmotivated by any means, but I didn't think I was in the upper echelon of fucking coworkers that you could work with until I got in the workforce. Now I'm like, I'm better than 90% of you fuckers. And it's nothing against any of you. It's not hard. You show up. You do the job you're supposed to fucking do in a timely fashion.
What do they not want to do, though? Is cut the pizzas and do the inside work? Or do they not want to deliver?
Just so damn slow.
Or they're like
everybody wants to deliver. Nobody wants to be there as long as they're supposed to be there for, and they don't want to do any of the work on the inside of the store. And it's just like, it's part of it. You can't just fucking sit in your car, listen to goddamn Earth, Wind, and Fire, and fucking make $5 a delivery for 4 hours. It's not gonna fucking happen that way. You gotta be in the store. You gotta be doing shit. You make money that way too. It might not be as much, you might not be making tips, but it's part of the fucking job, man.
Yeah.
You can't just...
You saying you had to earn being the delivery boy.
I mean, you can't, not even that you gotta earn it, but you can't just expect to be the delivery person and do nothing else.
Oh, yeah. No, you're going to have to work inside, I feel like, as well. I mean, obviously, I worked at Arby's and not the Hut, but, I mean, you got to think there's some people there that are still if they're like 16, 17, 18, whatever, and like they're just like, I can just do whatever the fuck.
You can't.
And they're not even understanding to do, and they're not
delivering
to making the tips. Or like even it occurs to them that they can make the amount of tips that they can eventually make. Then you're not going to take it as, I can just call. It's like, you're going to call into your 4-hour shift and like not, you know what I mean? What if you only have 10 hours that week? You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
People do that shit.
You can't make one of your only shifts.
That's why you can't be a healthy grown adult and continue to just, some people can do it, man. I don't know how they do it. But some people can become higher up management at a fast food place and deal with it and actually be able to do it. And if you can do that, that's kudos to you. Because I don't know how you could be in your 40s and have to deal with working with teenage coworkers that don't give a fuck for that long. I'd burn the fucking place down with them locked inside. I'd be going to prison if I had to fucking manage a goddamn McDonald's or something and deal with fucking 16 and 17-year-old coworkers on a closing shift that weren't wanting to do shit but fucking flirt with each other and try to fucking get out of there. It's like, you guys are driving me fucking nuts, man.
Isn't that a wild perspective to have, like, now, in comparison to the way it was, like, just getting those type of jobs? Because you worked at Burger King, technically, I mean, you worked at, where did you work before then?
I worked cleaning a doctor's office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically, like, you had that, but your like, first kind of job on your own out there was Burger King, right?
Yeah.
And mine was Arby's. I mean, I always did work.
And to be dead honest, I worked my ass off in Burger King.
Yeah, that was one of the jobs that I worked my ass off the most for the fucking nonsense amount of pay I got paid.
I got paid dick. And I was up inside this fucking hood, getting black smoke billowed on me, fucking sweating my dick off, scrubbing this metal fucking roof with degreaser and a scratch pad. And I was just like, how am I doing this for $7.60 an hour?
Isn't it insane that, like, it wasn't even that long ago that, like, that was, I mean, it was, but it, like, it wasn't, it's like, it's been a while, but it's like, how could that have been that little pay then, and it's, those same jobs are getting, like, $16 an hour now.
Yeah, they're getting, like, $13.50 to start for a crew member and like $16 for management. It's like, man, that makes no sense. Kudos to the teenagers that get that job now. They're probably like, this is fucking fire.
Well, yeah, but you can also buy less. You know, you spend $37 at the store and you walk out with 3 things.
It's crazy to think that we already sound old.
Yeah.
With saying that, but dude, when we were like 19, 20 years old, you could buy a lot more with your $7.75 an hour job paycheck than you can now with an $11 an hour paycheck.
It was much easier to do too whenever rent was only $2.50 each, you know.
Yeah, rent's a bit outrageous.
Because anywhere I'd go now, paying rent would be most likely almost 3 times that.
That's why I almost feel like the people that, and not even to get, this is going to sound political, but not even to sound political, but it just sounds so fucking pretentious. The people that are like, well, that's bullshit, they shouldn't get paid that much for fucking blah, blah, blah. It's like, you say that because you have the better job.
Yeah.
But if you were in a position where you were, who knows what happened? Literally a number of things could happen, or you could just be getting on your own, forced out of your house at 18, whatever the fuck, and you gotta find a place and you work at a fast food place, or you deliver, or you do whatever you do, and you're like, how the fuck am I gonna get a place in this? You know? And you can say, well, you know, they should fucking find a job, and you can't fucking think they're gonna make their shit. Yeah, you can say that when you are the owner of a construction company.
And this guy's eating chocolate.
He is. He's fucking. He's choking on his own fucking self-righteousness.
You can fucking find a job, bitch. But but no, I don't know.
I mean, it's tough, but it makes sense why they're making that, especially now, because like I said, dude, I run a trash route now. I've delivered pizzas.
It makes total sense now.
I've worked in a department store, and I've worked Burger King. Burger King, one of the fucking, probably the shittiest job I ever had.
For the
hardest fucking job I ever had.
Yeah, and for the amount of pay, though, obviously,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, like, less value.
But also, in general, it was the job I dreaded the most of any of my jobs.
It was pretty shitty being bitched at as a younger man, too, like, getting those jobs. They're like, oh, go faster!
Yeah, they're
like,
what you doing? Yeah, they're like, well, I still need my fucking double bacon cheeseburger for order 131. It's like, it's been on the screen for 40 seconds, Linda. Chill the fuck out. It'll be up there.
Because you worked like sandwich like assembly too, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the back line was the best.
I didn't have to deal with the customers.
No, none of them face to face. Didn't have to take. Honestly, the drive-through person, underrated position in the sense that they have to deal with a lot of shit at once. You gotta make some of the shit. You gotta take the order.
I hate.
You gotta think about it and plug it all in as you're as they're at. Oh, but not the pickle. But if it's got the ketchup, I'll take the mustard. And they don't even know what they want. These people.
Yeah.
They can't have the mayo on it, but they want the pickle. They don't want the pickle. They want the mayonnaise.
You know, that's everybody's got preferences, man.
I know. It's
At my job though,
you should pick them off.
They made me work the front a couple times.
Yeah, me too.
They're like, come work cashier. You know, we're busy up here. Well, why would that be a good time for me to come up?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing up there.
We got 11 people in line. Elijah! I know you haven't even done this one day yet.
You want to come up here and train? Well, we got a fucking line.
Apparently this guy's from the fucking country. Elijah! He has got no training, right? Yeah. Let's call him up here.
He was. You know, it's Jefferson fucking County. He was from the country.
Call him up here. You gotta start sometime.
I used to say, I'm like, I'm not one of the most. We got such attractive girls that work here. Put them in the front.
Yeah.
They, customers want to look at attractive people up front. They don't want to look at us. That's why we're backline. I'm a backline worker.
I wanted to be in the backline.
Oh, I did too. I just found excuses.
Honestly, I after they put me back there in the first place, like just in terms of, this is where you're going to learn because you need to learn how to make the orders if nothing else. Because, if you don't make the orders, there's nothing going out. So, you need to at least know the basics of it. And I did, and then I got really good on backline, and, that was
I could whip up a fucking burger.
Yeah, I could too. Those fucking roast beef ass sandwiches or some type of beef in a block, whatever you want to call it. But I got really quick at it. And yeah, but I will say, for what you were paid, it was absolutely one of the hardest jobs. In terms of the value for the money of the type of work you had to do that quick. And then there was some asshole after you clean the slicer comes in at 11:58.
Oh yeah.
And
that still happens.
Well, like 6 roast beefs. I guess this is in Florida too, so he wasn't maybe his country.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
They're out in the bayou.
But, he wasn't. One time, one guy came through and he's just dicking around, just to come through and fuck around, mess with us. And he's like, he knew what we had and what we didn't have, but he's just like, I want a burger. And they're like, yeah, we don't have that. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll take a taco. And he started listing the things that he knew he didn't have. And it's like, why? Like, it's not going to magically make us have the ingredients to make this shit. You know, you want an apple turnover? I can make that. I don't think they're very good, and I think customers are paying for shit because the turnovers, in my opinion, are not that good. The cookies are way better than the turnovers are.
Oh, yeah.
At Arby's, at least.
We had a guy, I'm pretty sure he was high. It was like after, he was like construction worker after a shift one time. He's like, hey, you guys got any, like, drinks or water or something for free in there? Like, we can get you a cup of water for free. And he's like, I'll do that, man. Give me one of them badass waters. It's like, all right, we'll do it, man. It'll be one badass water. Like, that'd be some shit you would say in the fucking drive-thru line.
Me?
Yeah.
Badass.
Give me one of them badass waters.
With a badass spear. So what the fuck were we talking about? We were talking about
motivated coworkers.
Motivated coworkers.
Because they can be motivated, annoying kind of motivated.
Well,
or they can be motivated like, wow, you're making my job easier.
Yeah, or like you boss so much ass, like you're doing the work of 3 people, just because now nobody has to cover this area because you're taking care of everything.
Yeah.
But the ones that are annoying, the ones that run through the workplace, wherever you're working, they just have that fucking worried look on their face the whole time. Like, frantic, like, we gotta get this done. Like, type of shit. And it's like, you need to fucking, like, I get it, it's gotta get done, you know? But you half crying, running through everybody and fucking all worried about it, stressing people out, looking over shoulders, that's not doing anything to help it. You know what I mean? It's making people kind of laugh or either be like, yeah, I'm not taking it as serious as this person is. Yeah. But it's not that you don't need to take it seriously. I mean, you know, to an extent, obviously you do. Otherwise, you're, you know, labeled a cruddy worker. You're not going to work that hard or that quickly or that with that much effort, you know. But at the same time, I think it needs to be
you got to have a
understood. Yeah, it's got to be understood motivation for the type of work you're doing. Not that you don't need to work hard.
Take it too seriously, but you also can't just not give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, you're there to work.
Show up on time. At least do your duty. You know what I'm saying? Just do the shit
do your damn job, man.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting paid to do. You're literally like, you're part of a company, you know? And I didn't really get that as much when I worked for big corporate, like working for like American Eagle Waste. Like, I feel that a little more. Like, it's kind of like, oh, this is like a family thing. I know my boss well, you know? It's like I represent the company when I'm out there and I'm wearing the shit. Can't be fucking dicking around out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all that any place can ask of you. Is don't drag down everybody's mood, but also just fucking do the job you're supposed to do at the end of the day, you know? Do what you're literally there to do. If you do nothing more than that, nobody can get on you. Because you at least are doing your job.
Yeah.
But having a motivated coworker, yeah, like you said, it can go really either way. Where like they can either be also too chipper and be like, oh, it's gonna fire every day, you know, where you're just like, all right, you're sweet. I like being around you sometimes, but Jesus Christ, every day we do this, you know, or like you said, just frantic, or they could just be like quietly just. And you're like, man. I wish we had 6 of these people in here, because the whole workplace would be easy as fuck. So I would much rather have motivated coworkers around me, even if they're not great, because that's the thing. Motivation doesn't always mean you're good. You can be damn motivated at your job and not be great. But at least you're there and you're putting in the damn effort.
You're trying, yeah. Well, like, how do you get better? Like, you know, you whether you got to start no matter where you start from. You know.
Yeah.
So
it's all you can do. It's like
I mean,
all
worst
that
thing
they
that
can
happens.
literally ask of you.
Worst thing that happens, you don't make the cut. They're like, nope.
Eventually, it's
And then, no matter what, either you take that as a lesson, or you're just like, oh fuck, like you blame it all on them. But eventually, you're gonna have to get it because
or
it's
you're
gonna
just
happen.
like that line of work is not for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Or it's or if it follows you and you actually aren't motivated, like it's eventually after you don't fucking put in the work multiple jobs in a row, like maybe you should look inward and be like, okay, maybe I'm fucking something up. You shouldn't be getting let go of places regularly like that.
You can kind of tell. Like the job I'm at now, especially like American Eagle, the waste company, it's because our boss hires a lot of, people in recovery or people out of jail and stuff like that. Or just people down on their luck in one way or another. Not everybody is there that's like that, but he hires people like that, And you can tell sometimes with those guys, especially if you run a route with them one day or you're training them, you can tell the ones that you're like, this guy seems motivated, to try to turn a new leaf here and make something happen, versus the guys that you're like, doesn't seem like he's done with his old ways. He'll be done here soon, and it's usually you're right, just with the way you can tell that they're there. They're only half present when they're there,
I would say, this is what I'd say, I mean, like, in generally speaking, like, highly motivated individuals like that, like, would be, like, to do more or to go above and beyond, as they like to say, is something that would probably be underrated type of thing. But I feel like there's a large percentage of people also, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, because as long as you fulfill the job, like, you fulfilled the job, like, it also means that you're more or less doing it in, for the paycheck. But like, if you're not doing it for the paycheck, that's what a lot of people are doing it for, you know what I mean? To pay you for their stuff. But sometimes you're only moderately motivated in the sense of like, you're just coming in to fulfill your obligation and that's it. You know what I'm saying? No more, no less. But I mean, if you're at least doing that, then you're meeting the mark. But I mean, that's not like over and above motivation. Like, so I mean, I don't know what angle you want to gauge motivation from, but I mean, that's still motivation. That's motivation, I would say, to at least get the job done.
Yeah.
But it's not motivation to go above and beyond and go the extra mile, you know what I'm saying, take the extra step kind of thing. But there's nothing wrong with that, because if you look at it, I mean, you're doing what's asked of you, at least. And if you at least do that, what can they say? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not saying that's the better route by any means, because as we know, doing above and beyond, sometimes you're not appreciated for it, but by and large, the theory in life is if you go above and beyond, no matter what you're doing, it'll eventually pay off. You'll get promoted. You'll find an opportunity somewhere else. Like, whatever. Like, that's the theory.
It won't like just continue to go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to take notice of the fact that, this
if you're that
good,
if you're that good, eventually, in most circumstances, not everybody, but in most circumstances, somebody would take note or somebody would see it if you were truly that standoutish. You know what I mean? But I would probably say fair overall, because sometimes even people that don't seem, it's almost more about their complex and the way they carry themselves that get them promoted, as opposed to them actually being ready to take on the position. You know what I mean? You see some people that necessarily don't always, okay, but the other argument of that is sometimes those people are pursuing those positions, so like that's actually something they want to do, so they're doing what they need to do to please the right people to get there, and that's part of it too.
Yeah. It was kind of like the whole theory of, the teacher's pet in grade school.
I was thinking of that.
Grows up
I was
to
literally
be the
thinking about
ass
that.
kisser of the boss.
Or like the worried, concerned, fuck, I gotta.
And because
everything's serious.
The concerned person is the ass kisser of the boss, because they're the one that's so fucking worried about everything going just right.
Yeah.
We can't piss off Melody or whatever.
When it's just funny, because sometimes whenever you actually take a moment, you're laid back, and you talk to people like they're people, like you have just as good a relationship with some of these overheads as those people would. But because your responsibilities are different, you can be a little more. It's also a personality difference, but you can also be a little more reserved. Because I'm like, I have a great relationship with people that I have in like the workplace or wherever that like you're more, you're not like, I guess what I'm trying to say is you're more like it's cool. It's not even there's no concern there. It's a laid back kind of relationship or whatever, and it's just not anything like specific to worry about. But whenever you have more of those, whenever you acquire more of those responsibilities, there's more, I guess, intention to please those people for your own benefits or whatever. But it's not. I'm like, it's not too bad just maintaining the ones that you have. You know what I mean? Because I'm not nervous to go up to anybody. You know what I mean? I don't take it that seriously. I mean, I take it seriously enough to show up and, you obviously do your shit, but like, why? Like, if you're talking to people like they're people, all should be fine,
Yeah, it's, a bit ridiculous sometimes. That's just sometimes the hardest part of a job is the workplace itself. Your coworkers, the people you have to mingle with every day or work under, or if you're management, the people you have to control at the workplace and position and stuff. Like, if your coworkers are just awful or you cannot see eye to eye with them, then it's going to make the place hell. At the end of the day, that's why I kind of like the job I have now, is you only have to rely on one other person on the trash route, like, because you run a route together and you run the same days of a route every week. So you have your neighborhood, you get established with your customers, and as long as you're like, I'm spoiled because I'm with my dad, I throw on the route he drives, so it's like, that's easy. But if that could also be, you could go the whole other side of that, and like, if you have the drivers awful or the throwers awful, or you guys just butt heads, it can be hell out there because it's only you two working together every day, So if you don't get along with that person, luckily, like, I don't say that I'm the best, but I think generally, as long as the person isn't just a complete asshole, I can start to pick up on the vibe of how a person is and kind of like acclimate to that and not cause friction,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never had a problem with a driver I've had to throw for, but I know guys that have. There's guys that they've had to come pick up throwers from routes or whatever because drivers and throwers quit running a route together because they're like, the driver leaves the thrower because he's so fucking pissed at him, or they're out in the middle of the street in the neighborhood about to get in a fist fight. It's like,
Jesus.
That I can't even imagine how hellacious that would be to be a driver. And that almost happened to my dad one day, and it was just because that guy picked and picked and picked and picked. It's like,
about what?
Just
trying. He was your dad's thrower instead of you that day?
I was gone that day.
Were you sick, I guess?
I think that was the day that I had food poisoning after Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
And he got stuck on that route. Or it might have been another day. But I think it might have been a Monday. But he finished like 3 hours later that day.
Oh.
The thrower was going just slow as shit, just on purpose to piss them off because they were already getting into it that day. He was just like trying to start problems the whole time, and I'm like, dude, if one of you is just not on the same page as the other, it can fucking just ruin it out there. But Brian even said, like, you don't gotta deal with that. Like, if a thrower is being that absurd out there, as the driver, you can call into the office and be like, come get this motherfucker, because I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm sure, because I've been there a while now at this point, if I because like they send a lot of new starts with me and my dad at the very beginning when they first start. And then Brian will be like, oh, how's he doing? Blah, blah, blah. So, like, I'm established enough there, and they know I'm a good worker, that if I really came to him and was like, this motherfucker's too much, they would probably believe me, you know? Just because they've established me as being, like, trustworthy there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, he shows up all the time, he does his job, he's not a fucking problem, he's not an ex-con, like 70% of the people here, and that's not knocking those people either, but it's like...
Is that not an exaggeration either?
I would say it's probably at least half.
Yeah.
But... yeah, it's probably around 50 to 60%.
I mean, that's a pretty damn good job to ask for after, you know, serving some time.
Yeah, but I mean, Brian just...
Because we're obviously speaking vaguely, and I don't know any of these people anyway.
I don't know, that's his thing, I guess. He believes in, you know, trying to give people a chance. And it works out sometimes, you know, but it also doesn't work out a lot of the times because...
yeah.
Especially with, you know, guys will... That's the thing, too, is, like, dudes I don't know at all. Like, I just met. They'll be telling me some of the deepest shit in their lives that they've went through, and I'm just like, it's fucking wild, man. Like, I just met you 2 hours ago, you know? Like, a guy was like, oh, man, one time, you know, the cops were after me for selling meth. And I was hopping fences, and I caught because he was saying that that's the reason he was limping. He's like, I caught my leg on one of the fences trying to get away. He's like, and I fucking snapped my ankle, and my foot was dangling. He's like, and I still got away, man. He's like, I still got away. He's like, and I went to the ER and blah, blah, blah. He's like, so that's why I got a limp now, is because my foot was basically detached from my body. Because I was running from the cops because I had sold meth for a while. And I was like, oh, that's something, man.
Yeah, it's a hell of a fucking journey there.
And they're all like that, you know, just coming in and telling me so much about themselves. It's like, my dad even says that. He's like, bro, I don't even know these guys' names. And they feel like they need to tell me their life story like I'm their therapist. He's like, I don't care, man. I'm not here to learn about I don't want to hear about all this.
Damn.
Some of it I feel like is kind of intriguing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was going to say, like, some of it you had to have, you know, maybe bonded with them a little bit, I would think, or enjoyed.
I feel like they also vent to a person like me because I don't know them. So it's like, there's no reason for me to judge them or to take a side or anything like that. It's just like, oh, I'm telling this guy about all this fucked up shit because we don't fucking really know each other, you know? And he just got out of jail a month ago and he's trying to talk. But, yeah. I never thought I'd hear so many ex-con stories until I started this job. And now it's like, every few weeks I'm like, damn, I'm glad my life ain't that fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, no, but back to that money thing, though, anyways, like, I would probably say fair. I mean, in a lot of senses, like, it's nice, but you also know that, like, you know, jobs across America that, like, people fight to have. Like, there's a lot of motivated employees at these really hard-to-reach workplaces.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know that still, in a lot of the upper echelon type companies and jobs, you really have to be ambitious to, you know.
Well, that's the thing. You got to be ambitious till you get to the tippy top, and then you can fucking just chill. Kick back on the beach and let your people under you take care of them. Hard shit. You just make the really big decisions, and besides that, you let everybody.
But see, if you make it there more than not, you know, you've earned that spot. You know what I'm saying? You're up there.
More often than not always.
There's also
some
like
bullshit favoritism,
but
nepotism, and all
there's
that
also the dad or the mom or whoever. Oh, I'm gonna turn my company over to you, son. here you go, and then they fuck it up and fuck it around,
man.
Stuff like that. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not. But I'm not saying but I would by no means say that that's always how it works. Oh, CEO, all right, here you go. So, that's not always how it works by any means. There's a lot of qualified people in that, and like some of them have been working probably at least 2/3 as long as the person that was actually in that position before they give it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, well, buddy, you got a 15-year run. They've already had like 40 years, and it's just like, buddy's already like fucking 50. So, I mean, he's not going to have that long a run.
Yeah.
It's
like the royal family. They're like, all right, King George, you're 87, but you're taking the throne.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, thanks, now that everybody's dead.
Now that I'm probably going to die within 5 years.
But, how humble of you. You're going to step out of power now. But, it's, that kind of thing happens, though. But, I mean, to some extent, like, if it's, like, a dad's company that he's given to his son, if, like, he's not ready to hang it up and he established it, that's his call.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't his son's decision. It's whatever he wants to give up the reins.
It's very, very rare. But you also have the families like, the Rothschilds and the Waltons.
Yeah.
And people like that are like, their grandchildren, they don't got to work a day in their fucking life, dude.
No.
They got it made. They're already rich as fuck. I saw that
hundreds of billions.
One of them,
of dollars.
Their niece graduated high school or something. She got a yacht, bro.
Jesus.
But at the same time, yeah, they didn't own that shit. That's why whenever you see guys like Shaq, Shaq has said before in interviews, he's like, I make sure my kids know, and there's a lot of other ones like this too. I know there's other names, I just can't think of them off the top of my head besides Shaq, but he was like, I make sure my kids know, that they still got to make it on their own in this world. He's like, because whenever, his son was 12, he heard him saying something to one of his friends, talking down to one of his friends, kind of oh, well, we're rich, so we don't got to deal with that, blah, 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 something like that. And Shaq was just like, no. He's like, listen. He's like, I'm rich. He's like, you ain't rich.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, just because you come from it doesn't mean you earned it.
No, you didn't earn, no. Hell no.
So that's kind of there's a respect there to the famous moms and dads of the world that have earned their money, to be just because your parent or your grandparent or whatever is fucking Mr. or Mrs. Moneybags does not mean
I've heard
you get fucking life just handed to you.
I've heard Gary Vee say that too about his kids. He's just like, no, he's like you didn't do that. I did that.
Yeah.
They go fucking, own your own shit. Go, not that they won't help them out or encourage them in that sense,
or
but if
you have the knowledge to help your kid make it, but you shouldn't just hand it to them,
Yeah.
There's also, even on lower levels of that, I got a cousin and my mom had a friend, growing up, that their grandparents just left everything in their will to them. So, once their grandparents died, they're here in their early to mid-20s, and all of a sudden they got their grandparents' house and car, and they paid, all they got to do is pay up on the bills, and they kind of, so they're steps ahead too, because they got stuff left to them in a will. And it's not even that, you can necessarily take shots of those people for things like that, because it's, yeah, they might have had an advantage there, but it doesn't mean in the long run things are easier for them necessarily, or that they're happier just because they got a free house from their dead grandpa. You know what I mean? It is nice.
Well, it's all too easy to mismanage money when you have a lot of it too. You know what I mean? It can be.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's I remember one of the lines in Breaking Bad. Remember Gus is and I don't necessarily know if this is 100% true, but at least it's at least partially true, because he said one has to learn how to be rich. Anyone can manage to be poor. Like, and I'm not saying necessarily anyone can, but or whatever, but you can kind of learn how you cut your budget, you spend a little less, you buy food, you cut down to the essentials, you do what you have to do to make it in that sense, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you really have to learn how to take better control whenever you have the means versus not having that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that sense, I completely understand like what that quote meant.
Yeah, you see the whole MC Hammer case a lot where people get rich quick off, a couple songs or a big movie or whatever the fuck they do, and they blow it, or they get a big contract out of college, or they sign a big, whatever the fuck, and they throw that money around because they're like, I'm gonna be making this for 30 years, and then they're broke as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they gotta sell all this shit back, and how humiliating that is. T-Pain talked about that in an interview on Steve-O's podcast a while back, just saying like, because he went bankrupt a while back.
Steve-O?
T-Pain.
Okay.
And he just said that like, whenever you start making hits, because remember T-Pain, dude, he had like 7 to 10 bangers between like the late 2000s and the early 2010s. And he was like, just whenever you're making those hits and you're making that money and it's just flowing in like a fountain. He's like, your money managers, your agents, your managers, all these people are just like, this is it. You made it now. Like, it's never gonna end. You hit the jackpot. You hit the gold mine. He's like, I know it sounds dumb, but like, once you're making fistfuls, tens of millions of dollars, you're not sitting there checking on your money necessarily. You're just buying. And he's like, Eventually it gets to a point where they start to tell you, and they don't tell you till it's dire, but they're like, hey, the money isn't coming in like it was. You might not want to buy this Lamborghini or buy this house. And then you're like, well, what? And then you realize, oh fuck, I'm gonna go bankrupt. Because I've been spending like this for 15 years because I was told this is going to keep being this way. And then the money dried up and nobody wanted to tell me because everybody around me doesn't want the party to end. So they're like, oh, he's going to release another single. He's going to find a way to make more money. Because they're living a great life by feeding off of you.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
That's the thing. Everybody's around for the party, but nobody's around for the downfall,
No. You want to go ahead and take a break?
Yeah, we went pretty deep there.
I know we did. No, we did. That was good, though. We got into some other shit, too, and we can come back with my first good, the bad, and the shits, and go from there.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. We are on episode 132. We will see you guys momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our break on episode 132, being led in by one of the all-time great sitcom or show intros,
Oh yeah, that's fantastic show. You can watch it 17 times. It's still great.
Oh yeah, no, it always is. It always is. It always has been. I promise you that. Alrighty, I guess it's time. What'd you just say?
It's an entertaining.
It's time for another good, the bad, and the shits topic.
Oh yeah.
So we're going down the lane of rich and making something of yourself, so to speak. I guess we were talking about like the workplace, but we were also talking about like motivated workers and whatnot. One of the most motivated motherfuckers to ever grace God's green earth, ever, competitively in sports and anything, was Michael fucking goddamn Jordan.
Yeah.
Now, my topic isn't just purely him, but
Okay.
How about this? The Michael Jordan influence in competitive sports and pop culture is his legend is that he was a fucking insanely competitive player, personality, everything. I mean, he became him. Nike having hired him as like is the first representative for their shoe brand overall, like than anybody, and building a shoe line around him before he even stepped foot on an NBA court. Mm-hmm. Like him being branded their guy into later like the logo, Air Jordan, and then it being changed to like him, flying high with the fucking ball and everything. Like he learned how to brand himself better than almost anybody ever in fucking sports. I mean, that was kind of the template, the blueprint for what was to come for like professional athletes, and what I'm saying, people getting a piece of what their likeness is modeled off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to mention, I mean, he was that great. Like you watch Jordan, anybody listening, I don't need to sell you on Michael Jordan. You know who he is. You know exactly who he is. You know what team he played for.
It's kind of the point, though.
And that's exactly, and that's the thing. And I mean, he looked like a fucking superstar. He carried himself like a superstar. He went to the NBA Finals 6 times. He won 6 NBA titles.
Yeah. He's a hell of a player.
But just you hear about that Jordan-like-esque work ethic. You hear about that Michael Jordan just superstardom like that he has. Like people want to be like it. Like, and not even just in basketball, but I mean he transcended everything. He was a fucking phenomenon,
Yeah.
And he's one of the biggest superstars of all time.
I mean, he's still considered the best by most people's standard.
Yeah.
Best basketball player, ever in the NBA. It's hard to say though, because he definitely can't say that it's underrated, because he's very, very influential.
Rightfully
in sports
so.
And media. Yeah, that's what I would say too. Like he is one of the best, and he proved that throughout his career in the NBA. He was damn near unbeatable for a while. And I mean, people can say whatever they want now in the modern era, like, oh, he was an asshole, he was this or that or whatever. But yeah, I mean, maybe he was, but that was the competitiveness of him. Like, he was like, motherfucker, you will not beat me.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take me down to get me out of here. Like, I'm not going to... He was that kind of, he almost had the fighter's mentality, where he was like, I'm going to go out on my back, because I'm not... Until I'm proven that I can be beat, I'm not leaving.
Oh, this was him. I'm not giving it up willingly. Like, you'll have to take it from me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. He was inspiring for sure as an athlete. He was cool, like a cool personality.
He was. He was. And like a lot of people, like that is the number one. They're like, oh, I saw the movie. The guy that played I want to say his name was Phil, but who was the Ben Affleck character, the CEO of Nike? He's like, we've never. I think Damon's character said, one of them said that, but they had never made over $3 million on any shoe anyway. Like the first year the Air Jordan came out, they made like $162 million, and the previous record was like $3 million, and that was like several years before Michael even won his first title.
Yeah, it's wild.
Before the Bulls, really caught fire, and then they won.
I mean, it's probably just cool to people, though, to be like, a basketball player has their own basketball shoe.
Yeah. That year, that Bulls team went like 72-10. They fucking dicked down the competition, man. I mean, fucking annihilated them.
Yeah.
That, like, with Rodman.
That's a crazy record.
With Rodman and fucking Scottie Pippen and like that group, man. Oh man.
Playing, but like that's the thing though. Playing as a good player too, playing with Michael Jordan. It's like, one, you're gonna be overshadowed for sure, and two, you're gonna be held to a standard.
Yeah.
Because Michael Jordan's like, all right, this guy's solid. That's why he's here. I like having him on the team. But if you start fucking up, he's going to be like, yo, what the fuck you doing? Because he's Michael Jordan and he's competitive. So you're just like, you can't feel that pressure all the time. You're like, I'm out here with Michael fucking Jordan. You know? That'd be tough. Knowing that because I mean, like, Basketball is like a 5 year. There's 5 of you out there on the court as a team. So it's like if there's 4 of you and Michael Jordan, the 4 of you are feeling that. You're like, I gotta be good, man.
You gotta be better than that,
Steve Kerr, he
That's
was
the
one
thing.
for a while too, I think. The guy that's now the Warriors head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say it's fair, his influence on sports, for sure.
He's had a massive, but I think most people recognize that because, like, even if there's debate, they're like, oh, this, but either way, he became bigger than the sport in a lot of senses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He became like a legendary fucking name figure. Like, and it's not even just his influence and impact on basketball. Like, he's one of the most recognized, influential people ever in anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Triumphing over even his own sport, like he was one of the most.
All sports.
Yeah, he's that's the standard.
Model for all sports.
You know, that's what Brady wanted to be better than. Whenever I brought that up before, but like whenever they're like, oh, you going for like Montana, and he's like, no, I'm going for Jordan.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be the fucking best of all time, ever, in anything. And that was how great of an athlete Jordan was. And how big of a superstar he was,
Yeah.
I mean, his influence is even to today. The dude's been retired for over 20 years.
That's the thing, though, too, is Jordan was damn near... Like, he didn't lose many finals throughout the 6 that he won. None, did he?
You mean games?
No, like
he didn't lose any finals.
That's what I think.
He lost games sometimes in those series.
The actual series.
No, in most of those teams, I'm pretty sure they beat the fuck out of them, like 4-1. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like
just be 6
not all of them,
finals
but
wins
6
and
for
no
6
losses.
He never ever lost the finals.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Nobody can say that. Probably ever again.
Nobody that actually, like, if you were on a team with them, those guys can say it, but it's like you
weren't
the one.
Debate.
And Jordan was putting up. It wasn't like he was having a shabby. He was putting up like 40. Some of these games he put up 60.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was giving me the ball. I'm trying to score for sure. He was. I mean, it would be hard to play with him, but damn, was he good. I bet it was intense. The same thing with Kobe Bryant. They said he was just so damn competitive and athletic and wanted that damn ball that it was just like it was hard to play with him, but he was fucking phenomenal. It's like a lot of those guys. Like that's what I mean. Jordan, most people would say is the best of all time. The only other people you could maybe make the debate on is like Kobe and LeBron, and a lot of people would really not like that. But like,
some people say like,
I feel like LeBron's also going to be a lot more appreciated once he's retired.
Some people will say like,
but he doesn't have that finals record.
Hakeem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh yeah.
Some people would say like
Kareem.
Kareem. Did I say Hakeem?
Yeah.
Kareem. Well, mixing wrestling with basketball.
Hakeem the Dream.
Hakeem the.
Kareem the Dream.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a lot better than Hakeem in pro wrestling.
Oh yeah.
That
Meant
more for the sport.
Larry Bird was fantastic.
Will Chamberlain was an
Chamberlain
early.
was
He was an
fantastic,
early.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was an
Chamberlain
early
was
fucking You said Larry Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, there was definitely like names, but I mean there were, there weren't that many to change the entire landscape. Like 10 or
Larry
less.
Bird
did
did one of the most baller things of
Magic
all time,
Johnson and Shaq, two of the
Yeah.
all-time
Oh, yeah.
greats also,
Larry Bird, though, when he won the 3-point contest, I think it was like in the 80s at some point, the early 80s maybe, early to mid. He won the 3-point contest without ever, he didn't come out there and take practice shots, and he didn't even get out of his warm-up jacket. He was just still in his shit. Didn't even bother getting out of any of it, and just fucking drained threes on all these motherfuckers. It's like, that's a baller move, man. Larry Bird, I love him. Fantastic player.
Yeah.
Goofy fucking looking dude.
Oh yeah.
But to like see this goofy looking white guy coming out here just dropping buckets, man. He was the Eminem of basketball, bro.
I sound like fucking Mike Adamley getting people's names wrong and shit here. And see, I know that I know the name, but yeah, I mean, he transcended the sport. He changed the landscape of professional sports. You know,
was the man. And the influence that he had, like what he did for the city of Chicago in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
that city was on fire because of Jordan.
And did you know, like, the fucking ratings? And I know obviously a lot of stuff changed with streaming, but obviously, baseball, football, basketball, everything's been on different channels, I guess, since then. Like, some are streamed now, some are still watching on cable, but like, especially baseball is hard to watch because they make it so specific to a market and everything.
Yeah.
But after Michael left the NBA altogether, like, the ratings took a fucking... This is how big of a star he was. They took a massive fucking dive. It was like 50% of people stopped watching. They're just like, oh, Michael Jordan's not playing. All right, click. Like, they turned it off. They never got back on.
He's such a star, man.
That's what he made people fans that were that wasn't even their thing,
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys that are major stars in their sport, but I don't know if anybody can say that they had that much of an influence over their sport to where the viewership would literally drop that much if they weren't there.
People wanted to see superstars. And, like, even in wrestling and football and stuff like that. See, the thing is, there's always going to be some stars in football, but it's not really reliant on a star. You know what I mean? There's a plethora of people that are going to draw you to it, but, like, the sport and the scarcity sometimes of the games. I don't want to say it's just that either. Oh, there's 16 games, 17 games, whatever. But it's also like it's America's sort of sport. Like our main, this is our thing that's different than everybody else's. And the game is the allure. It's not necessarily, even now, as great as Mahomes is, as many championships as he won, it's not reliant fully on him or anything like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players that people will watch for. And even if one, Burrow, Lamar, fucking Brady retired, like even if one major one goes down, Breeze left a few years ago, even if one major one, 2, 3 leave, people are still going to watch. Viewership has went up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
there's
not
a lot of great young stars in the league right now, and older veterans. Like the league's just a melting pot of great talent right now.
It's not reliant. It's
not like 3 to 5 guys that are just carrying the league.
It's not like there's a certain person that people are going to stop watching all NFL because of it. Like, most of the time, people that are that into the NFL and that into football in general are way more than just into only watching their team. Like, they want to see what's going on over here. They want to see what's going on, especially if you have a fantasy team.
You gotta know,
and all that shit too.
If you like your team, you kind of gotta know what's going on with the whole league because you gotta know what's happening for your team.
Oh, we're facing them next week.
You gotta keep up. There's more people, like, if you're just a Mahomes or a Brady when he was playing, or a Rodgers or whatever, like, that kind of fan, then those are the fans that are usually just kind of like novice fans, or they'll watch when it's on. They're like, oh, I like Aaron Rodgers, Those are the kind of like not super into it, but they know players. That's kind of like the novice NFL fan. I feel like if you're even a fan of a team, you kind of got to know the league to an extent. You can't just be like, well, I just watch the Chiefs games when they're on TV. Like, you got to know what's happening.
Yeah.
Who they're facing, where they stand in the division, what their playoff, like what the playoff berth would look like, if they're going to get home field advantage. You got to understand all that shit. Sports are a complex thing. That's what I never thought they were. That's like growing up, because I just understood baseball and football from a young age, because I, watched that shit all the time from a young age. Watched a lot, like I understood basketball and hockey too, because I watched a decent amount of them. But like, once I got older, and started like dating my girlfriend and stuff now are just different things with people that didn't really ever keep up with sports that much. And you're trying to sit here and explain the rules of why things are happening as they happen in a sports game. And you're like, why is this shit so damn complex when I'm trying to explain it to somebody?
And there's so many...
It just makes sense to me, but I'm like, I can't even... It's like you're teaching a whole damn course when you're trying to watch a game.
There's so many intricacies and little parts about it, though. It's just like, oh, well, this is that, this for that reason, and they don't want to play this guy now because they're going to be away next week in fucking Buffalo, and the cold weather affects this guy.
Yeah.
There's like different, and let alone the plays and like what's the route, what's the right, route to run and this and that. Like there's so many little things that if you really wanted to, you can break it down into like, man, this is all, and often everything you think you knew about the league or know about the league gets flipped upside down the first 5 weeks of the next season.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, what the fuck?
Especially in the NFL, like more than any other league. It's just like
and then
week
you get
to week shit
flooded
changes.
with injuries you didn't know or do expect. Like, and then it's always crazy because whenever you draft somebody in like a fantasy league, whatever, obviously these are real people, but like whenever you draft somebody in a fantasy team, you don't think that somebody's going to go down week 1 or 2, and then you're like, oh, fuck, I got a great team. I can't wait for the season to start. And then you just get fucking pummeled.
You're like,
on the left fucking field.
And it's always a bummer, too, because you usually at least generally like the guy on your team. Not always, like, is it that, especially in the later rounds, you're just picking who you falls to you, kind of, but, like, you like the guys on your team, so you're, like, also just really bummed because you're like, fuck. That guy's going to be out for how long? Now my team's fucked, too? It's like a double whammy. Yeah, fantasy's always been that way, where I'm like, it's fun, but it's also like, fuck, some weeks it just ruins your week watching football. I'm like, I can't even enjoy the game. My shit's fucked over here.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Like, there's some weeks that it is ultra depressing. Like, if you go down like by like 70 points in the 12 games on Sunday, you're like, oh my god. Like, you're like, I'm not gonna get that back. I'm not gonna fucking score that many.
And then your team plays the 3 o'clock game and they get their ass handed to them too, and you're like, this is just terrible week of football. I might as well go to bed.
I know, it's insane. Would you say though on Michael?
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was his influence, right? In the
yeah. Over competitive sports and pop culture. Yeah. I would say that's the way I framed it.
I mean, he damn sure made the name for himself.
Oh yeah. And most people still say, regardless of who they think's the greatest, oh, he took over this, or Tom Brady's the greatest in football, or Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer, or Kevin Federer is the greatest, fucking tennis player, whatever. Most people say
Roger Federer.
Or what? Did I fuck that up again? Did I say Kevin?
You almost said Kevin.
Dude,
Federer,
you know what? Actually, that's another name. Man, I am really pulling the Mike Adamle shtick tonight. But what I will say is actually, what's funny about that is I think I got that wrong when I was a kid and I was starting to try to first learn fucking tennis. But with all due respect to
those
tennis,
are the only ones
I love tennis. Really. I love tennis and Rafael Nadal.
Fucking Roger Federer and the Williams twins.
Yeah. Yep, that's pretty much who the finals came down to every fucking year for a long time. But I'm pretty sure I got that wrong then. I don't know why I would say Kevin, who knows. But Roger Federer though, but all these people, most people say, regardless of who the GOAT is, or you're like, oh, they would be the most dominant in their sport over anybody else ever was in their sport. You know what I'm saying? Confirming or seemingly trying to confirm that this person is the greatest athlete. But most anybody, like nobody, I don't know if I've ever even heard a different answer per se, but like most everybody says in all sports, like Jordan was the fiercest competitor they've ever faced. They've ever heard of. He was fucking like, no, I'm going to shut you the fuck down. He was the one.
Probably like scary to be one-on-one with.
Oh, yeah.
Court.
It was just like, goddamn, like I fucking showed up to play a game.
Shit, too. So, motherfucker, give me the ball.
Just.
No, get that shit out here.
Yeah.
So, like, up in your face the whole time.
Yeah.
Just like, this motherfucker's
like
intense.
Yeah. But just wanted to fucking win, you know? But, I mean,
yeah,
anything he did.
That was the thing, though. A lot of the guys, too, are psychologists out there.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the greats, they do get in their opponent's head when they can. Like, especially in a game like where you're right up, like, one-on-one with somebody like that, it's easy to talk shit, you know? Because you're right there. You can try to really play the psychology game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, he had an insane, over-the-top personality. Like, he had the fierce competitiveness with him. He had the superstar brand. Like, that was who and what he was. He was that great of an athlete, but, like, the perception of Michael Jordan was just intimidating in itself because it was just like, oh, fuck. Like, there's just overpowerful entity that even if, you know, you were convinced that he could do things he might not even be able to, or he might not do to you in the game, like, just the perception of what he was intimidated people.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to face this motherfucker, the stuff that I've heard about this. Like, I don't want to play that. And it just, you know, it took on a life of its own. Like, that's why it's like his influence is just unparalleled, even still. And we've seen some great, I'm not saying remotely we haven't seen some great football, basketball, baseball, just, you know, great personalities and fantastic athletes. But, like, in comparison to, like, what he was and what he meant to sports in general, man, I don't know if anybody's ever paralleled that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the greats in their respective sport.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can pick the greatest probably in every sport. Everybody has their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was the original transcender for sure. Like, nobody would have probably been able to have that platform as an athlete before him.
No, so. Yeah, he was, you know, he was the fucking difference maker. Definitely moved the needle. I mean, so much to where the league never recovered after he left, you know?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's obviously still popular. It's just not, it doesn't have this, you know, nothing has the stardom overall as the NFL does. I mean, there's less games, but there's more power and say and money in the NFL over anything else. Over the MLB, over the fucking NBA.
Yeah.
Definitely over the
NHL.
NHL. Yeah, well, that's what you get whenever you don't have a salary cap.
Yeah.
But they don't have nearly the viewership that
because they fuck themselves.
And neither does the NBA.
You can't view the MLB and the NBA like you can the NFL. The NFL, they worked it out. They're on local TV for everyone to watch. Like, you don't get that really with the NBA or the MLB or the NHL because they also have too many games. Like, it's easier whenever the NFL plays on Sundays and Mondays, and they can just work that out on cable TV and local channels. But when you're playing, 4 days a week, they don't want to take up all that airtime. Like, we gotta play. No, man, we can't do that. We gotta play our 3 hours of the Big Bang Theory. We can't play your fucking NBA game. Unless it's the playoffs, and then everybody wants the fucking playoffs. That's when it matters. That's when everybody cares. And even as a sports fan, that's the best time, is the playoffs. Not for my teams, but...
Did you see what the Christmas games are going to be? Hold on a second. What the fuck? So it's going to be... Did they switch them? What the fuck? It seems like they switched them. Maybe they didn't. Okay. This is what it's saying right here. Published May 16th. So this is just the other day. This has to be accurate. But so the Chiefs... And so the NFL is coming after the NBA because the NBA used to always have Christmas Day, right? The NFL this year's not only put one game but 2 games on Christmas. But the way they're doing it is they're putting them on Netflix. But this is no bullshit that they're putting on Netflix. They're putting the Chiefs against the Steelers, who even if the Steelers aren't what they were, they are a huge brand still. Yeah. Same as the Cowboys, same as the Packers, same as, the Patriots, people like that have had a huge, you know what I'm saying? The Chiefs versus the Steelers, and this is going to be on at 12 p.m. on Netflix on Christmas Day. After you've had morning Christmas and, all this stuff, noon. And then you got the Ravens and Texans at 3:30 on Netflix.
The Texans are going to be fire this year, too.
So, dude, these are no fucking bullshit games. Like, and the thing is, it's not like they picked a different type of platform. Like last year, Peacock had some games. This year, like Netflix is going to get Raw. The beginning of next year, Netflix is signing some big time live sports contracts in the sense of or like at least hosting the games. Not obviously the individual players themselves, but that's going to be fucking crazy. They're gunning for the NBA's viewership on Christmas Day, and you know what? They're gonna win. And they're not putting scrubs.
On cable TV, the NBA.
They're not putting scrubs on Christmas Day either. And Netflix, regardless of anything any other streaming service has, they're still number one. Like they're still the number one dog.
Ways too, because there's so many streaming services out there now that Netflix is like.
They had a leg up. They had a head start.
They got another new thing now. They're getting contracts to do all these live sports and sports entertainment things.
So those are the Christmas Day games.
That'll be entertaining. Do we want to throw my topic out here real quick?
Yeah. So you said fair.
Yeah. Old Mikey.
Major influence.
All right. Well, we'll just do an easy one here. What do we feel about pork rinds?
Pork rinds.
Good old. Dude, I love a pork rind. I don't even know if it's just like a country thing. Like, I feel like country if I eat a pork rind. Because I'm like, it literally is just like fried pork skin. And that's pretty nasty, I know. Even the sound of it's like, that's kind of gross. But it is pretty damn good. And I just always ate them. Didn't think anything of it. And again, like my girlfriend's like, those things are nasty. They look kind of gross. They smell horrible. And I'm just like munching them down.
Oh, they're pretty good.
I love them. And I know that's like, I feel like people have a very strong opinion on them though. If they don't like them, they fucking hate them. And I feel like less people like them than don't like them. Like just because they have a bad perception because they're literal pork skin,
Yeah.
And people are just like,
I mean, I think they're pretty fucking good. They're not.
It's not like pickled pig's feet. Like that shit is kind of nasty.
What I would say is they're not they're not by any means. I shouldn't say not like never, but most of the time more likely to grab like maybe a bag of chips or like Cheez-Its or something
most of the time.
over pork rinds. Or before, I'd pick them, but from time to time I do still grab some, and I think they're fucking pretty goddamn good.
Every time I grab them, I'm not disappointed.
They're not my personal favorite, but I do think they're probably a little bit underrated.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty damn good.
I think people don't like them more often than not.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just
like the sound of it.
Yeah. And the fact that they don't smell good. Mm-hmm. Like
Turn off.
People are just like, well, they're actually fried pork skin? Like, that's fucking nasty, dude. What the fuck are you eating pork skin? And then also when you open the bag and you're like, oh, and it smells like a fart, I'm not fucking eating this. But it's fire if you do. I fucking love it. Might get some again soon. It's been a minute since I had some pork rinds. I was thinking about them earlier. I'm like, man, I fuck up a bag of pork rinds when I get them.
Yeah, they're good. No, they're good. Like I'm not, like I said, not always my first choice, but I do enjoy them. I think they're rather delightful now and then. You know, I'll either get the hot and spicy ones or I'll get the barbecue ones.
Yeah, barbecue's good.
What other flavors outside of those two do they?
The cheddar is good. The original is good.
Okay, I was gonna
and
say
the hot spicy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's those. Okay.
I think they got another one like. I don't know.
Surprised they didn't try making that into ranch by
one.
now.
Yeah. Seems like they would.
Especially in the Midwest.
Yeah. Probably would have tried it.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
You got like a ghost pepper.
You still chew sunflower seeds indoors sometimes, just fucking.
Yeah, sometimes.
I really enjoy doing it outdoors, but sometimes whenever you're like not trying to like eat and get rambunctious, and just in terms of, just feasting away inside because you're bored or whatever, it's nice to have sunflower seeds just because that's a little bit at a time, and you're still getting flavor and you're still being able to do something, chewing them and everything.
Yeah.
But you're not like excessively and compulsively eating thing after thing or meal after type of thing. But yeah,
sunflower seeds are good for that. They're a snack without being too much, and yeah, you're still getting like a nice little flavor. You're like, Which at the end of the day, that's all you're really wanting. If you're like already full, but you're just like, I'm snacky. All you want's a flavor. Pretty much then. Yeah. I used to like really munch down on some sunflower seeds. I don't feel like I haven't done it as much lately as I used to, but
these
I could
teeth,
always,
man.
I could always fuck up a bag of sunflower seeds too if they're around. Like the barbecue ones a whole lot. The sweet and salty ones are really good too. I kind of discovered those later on though. I was like, damn, these are pretty fire. The dill pickle ones are good, but like a whole bag of them gets to be a little much for me by the end.
One of the best kinds I ever had, I think they were David whenever we were at the apartment. But they were like jalapeno queso.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, they were.
Yeah, dude, the On the Run by us at the apartment, they used to have so many flavors of sunflower seeds.
Yeah,
at that gas station.
They did.
There's like a lot of flavors that you did not like see at the store. You're like, what the fuck?
Dude, they had blueberry almonds. They looked fucking great. I mean, I grabbed some now and then. But,
blueberry what? Blueberry like flavoring dust over the almonds? Yeah,
oh, they were
sounds
great.
Pretty good. So yeah, would you say underrated? Underrated.
I'm gonna say
that's what I'd say too.
Well, I'll throw it in a food direction too. Why not? Throw something else out there.
Yeah.
Definitely,
It's been a minute. I feel like.
Definitely not that. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I was about to say definitely not that popular, but I was gonna say kind of is popular because it's pretty affordable and a lot of people would buy it. But the connotation, the perception, the overall opinion of this isn't swell. A lot of people think it's fucking garbage. I don't think it's garbage. I think it can be pretty good. Bologna. What do you think of bologna?
I don't buy it all that often, and when I do, more often than not, I do like fried bologna a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I like fried bologna more than regular bologna. But like if that's what's in the house, like if I'm like somewhere and I'm like I'm kind of hungry, they're like, oh, there's bologna and bread in there and some mustard and ketchup and some cheese. Yeah, I could definitely eat some bologna. Every now and then it does sound good.
It does.
Like every now and then I get a craving for it. It's not that often. It's not like usually the meat I grab when I go to the lunch meats. You know what I mean? I don't usually go for the bologna.
What do you go for first usually?
I like rotisserie seasoned chicken breasts, and I like a honey ham a lot. That's usually my go-tos in the lunch meat department. But
see, if you get bologna, the thing is, if you get bologna from
salami,
from like a butcher shop or from like an actual fucking
Oh yeah, then it's
from an actual
more high quality.
It is.
bologna.
It is, and it's actually really good. Like I'm like, damn, like those, like
Yeah.
that's what he gets sometimes, and I'm like, man, like that is some, like that's some pretty damn good bologna. Like that makes a quality sandwich where you get it from like a meat market type place.
It's
instead
better
of
than
just
like getting
instead of just like a
Oscar Mayer
packaged,
bologna.
yeah, I was gonna say, thing of it, where it feels like rubber. You pull it out, and it's like
That's when it's good to fry it.
yeah.
When it's like that, if you fry it up, it tastes pretty damn good.
But I mean, I've eaten it that way too. I've eaten it all those different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not that bad. Another common misperception, man, or
As a
misconception.
kid, I feel like I ate a lot.
Spam, not that bad.
Spam's pretty damn good.
It is. It
The
is.
only thing I don't like about Spam is it's so damn salty
Mhm.
that after you eat Spam, dude, you could drink 14 cups of water and literally still just be as thirsty as you was like before.
Yeah.
Just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Hard
You don't even have to do anything
so
to it.
hard.
The thing is, if you fry it, it feels so much even more saltier. You're like, God damn.
Yeah, Spam is damn good, but yeah, it's like that salt just sucks up every ounce of fucking moisture in your body.
Oh yeah, and it's good, but I get completely what you mean.
Like that's why I always get the less sodium if I'm gonna get Spam, because I'm like I don't need all that fucking salt in there.
The less sodium gets it more to like where it should be. It's like, oh fuck.
It's like I don't know how people even. I think that's just it helps it like not go bad. That's like part of the thing with Spam is it's like
oh yeah,
you
yeah.
can
There's
pack it with all that salt so it doesn't go bad.
there's a lot of that shit, and that's why like we're paying for all this kind of stuff, and it's you gotta think like. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but you don't always even think about what you're actually putting in your body. You know what you bought, but like, what about all the preservatives and all the shit and all the chemicals and all the salt and all the shit that's in things?
You really
know
think
what I mean?
about things.
Sure, it might have 13 grams protein, but what does it have on the back side of that? You know what I'm saying? On the fucking
what are
flip
some
the
of
coin.
these like acids and other bullshit listed in the ingredients? Like,
I remember you saying that, like, for reading, like, a can. You're like, something kind of acid. You're like, why the fuck would that be in there?
It doesn't make sense sometimes reading it.
They just inject.
I think it was a soda.
In there.
It was like phosphoric acid, the soda.
Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck would that be in
Why?
the soda?
Somebody just fucking squirts a pan of acid into it. So it's like, all right, it's just tearing up his stomach lining. 30 years, fucking, it's gonna start the process,
Yep, phosphoric acid. They just want to kill you,
Oh yeah, can't
They
have
want to
anything
kill
good.
you off a little.
They just put these chemicals
Slowly.
in there just to fuck you up, man.
Like, we need to keep the money flowing, but we can't keep people on this earth too much. Make the shit a little deadly, but damn addictive. That's the method.
And see, that's the issue because it tastes damn good. Whatever they put in the McDonald's fucking
That's
breakfast and the other stuff, like a lot of fast food.
God.
It's so good.
Dude, all that breakfast food, like, I went to Waffle House again the other day. Me and Haley did. It was so fucking good. I always get the Texas bacon, egg, and cheese melt with the large hash brown order, double covered. I don't get it all that often, but when I do, I'm like, man, this is a good fucker. But you know that it's like, it even kind of tastes like it's like, the place is a little gross.
But see,
it's the greasy
it's
shit.
pretty damn
It's
good.
Shit.
That diner atmosphere makes it feel like it's gonna be a good meal, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it just feels like some old times.
Yeah, I don't
shit
usually
that they know.
I don't think I've ever really had a bad meal in a diner, like a diner setting.
Oh, some of them are so nice and like simple. Like they're just the coffee's always good. It's you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, they got their shtick on point.
Yeah.
The diner setting.
They're not trying to be anything they're not. Like it's more about the meal than the presentation. And the simplicity of it almost works to its advantage. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make you. It does not this whole hype fucking junction and fuck, it doesn't show you all this, elaborate shit about, oh, it's supposed to be this and that. Like, they're gonna serve you an old school fucking meal, bacon and eggs, biscuits, gravy, waffles or pancakes, and this and, whatever it is. I don't eat all of it, but I eat a lot of it. It's good. But like, sausage, all this stuff. And like, it's gonna hit the spot you want it to hit. You know what I mean? Or like that Courtesy Diner me and Cheatham went to. We got served lunch there whenever we went, though. It was phenomenal. The burger was great.
Yeah.
It was great. It was very simple. It's called a Courtesy Diner. It was like black and white. There wasn't any, like,
Oh, yeah, the Courtesy Diner's pretty damn good.
I
got a slinger there before. Fire.
And, the chili at those places is so good, too. Like, it's very simple because it's more about the actual production. It's kind of like before movies had all the special effects they have now was about the acting. It's about the base of what the fuck it's supposed to be. It's a meal at the end of the day.
Come here for some good food. Who gives a fuck what it looks like?
Contrary to what we just talked about with it being, the sports like the superstar instead of just the playing. I mean, because obviously if he wasn't a great player, that wouldn't have gotten him noticed in the beginning. But like, it's the superstar. He brought something else to it. But like, that's kind of what it is. It's like, at base level, it is the food, and it's not trying to present itself as anything it isn't. It's about the acting. You know what I'm saying? It's about the fucking grunt of the work.
Yeah.
It's about the actual thing. It's not about, smoke and blowhorns and whistles and fucking all kinds of other shit. It's about the actual, like, what you came there for. You came there to eat, so it's going to be about the meal.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a bad presentation, but it's not an over-the-top, colorful, imaginary thing that draws you in and gives you the perception of good food when it really isn't. You know what I'm saying? It's about the meal. And that's all you really need. Yeah, and
a lot of times you don't.
As long as it's not a terrible presentation.
I'm hungry when I'm going to sit down and eat a meal. I don't need all the bells and whistles, man.
Yeah,
as long as it's just a good fucking meal, I'm gonna be satisfied with the place.
Yeah.
As long and it's not horrible fucking service and gross environment.
If it's at least, because if it's too dirty and too grimy, it's gonna turn you off, even if the food looks decent or whatever. But if it's, if it's just if it's just decent, then you're gonna care about the meal. Like, it can't be a horrible presentation, but it doesn't have to be an over-the-top presentation to deliver you an excellent fucking meal. You know what I mean? So, I definitely get that. I haven't been to a diner in a while of anything.
Yeah, we hit up a lot of Denny's isn't a diner, but we hit up a lot of Denny's and occasionally a Waffle House on like Sunday mornings. Not every week, but it's like a nice little tradition to do a couple times a month, Just get up and be like, get some fucking breakfast. So like, because I like to kick back on Sundays when I can. Usually Saturdays I like to get some shit done. So I like to get some shopping done and housework done and everything. So Sundays are a little easier. I can maybe work on my blog some, do some promotion for the blog and the podcast and whatnot, but mainly just kick back. You gotta have at least a day a week where you can try to do that a little more, It's always nice.
It's needed,
Yeah. I'd go fucking nuts, dude, if I wasn't able to indulge in my things and just chill every now and then. It's literally my happy place. I'm always just trying to zone into my shit and just chill out. I live to chill, man. I'd be like a fucking... I don't want to say I'd be a turtle because they're just slow and unmotivated, and that's what I was saying I wasn't earlier. But it'd be nice, You live a long time, but you're just fucking chilling, dude. You're laying up on a log. You're fucking bathing in the sun. It's a great life,
Yeah.
It's nice to do that every now and then. Be a turtle, man.
They got a long life.
They fucking figured it out,
Other than, the ones that end up in the middle of the road, man. But that's the thing. It's ended quick for them.
Or get ate by
something. So either you're living a long time or it's just quick Quick and easy.
You get turned into turtle soup.
No, that's brutal too. Damn. Well, you want to add anything else, or are we?
No, I think.
What do you think? Pretty. I
mean, the be a turtle is a pretty good way to end it for me.
Well, in terms of episodes, we're actually on the shorter side tonight, but no complaints there. I feel like we did a pretty fucking quality episode away from some of our more of our standard stuff that we discuss.
Yeah, I definitely could have discussed some wrestling tonight because I have some thoughts about the King Queen of the Ring stuff coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm like, are they going to make it actually matter this time? I guess we'll see. I don't want to get too into it now because
it'd be nice if they at least ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, they're making it feel like it matters right now.
Yeah.
You know, like the build up to it matters, but like once they actually win their crowns, is it gonna matter? I guess we'll see.
I guess so. What date is that?
This Saturday.
Oh, it's May 25th?
Yeah, the semi-finals are on Raw and SmackDown this week. That's the thing, though. It's been like the bracket has taken from the week after Backlash all the way till this. It's been like a lot of the damn shows on Raw and SmackDown have been taken up by the King Queen of the Ring matches.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of matches to have.
So it's like they better this better pay off, or it's going to be like month of kind of what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I agree. They should definitely make it mean something rather than just to put another title on somebody, and not even a title, just but like a title. Yeah, like oh, he's the King of the Ring, and then just run with that for 6 months. But let them actually make something of themselves with it. You know what I mean? Make it be at least a launching pad. It used to be all the time.
Yeah.
But
I guess we'll see how it goes.
We will indeed. I'm sure we'll
bring the prestige.
We'll be back really soon with episode 133. We got our 5-year anniversary coming up here in a few weeks.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. Holy shit! That's half a decade, man.
Yeah.
That's wild. But we will be seeing everybody soon, and hopefully everybody's taking care out there. Hopefully you tune in and keep up with everything we got going on. The podcast, your blog, fucking, yeah. So, I mean, we got the YouTube page. Everybody sees that up and running, but
yeah.
Definitely keep tuning in for us, and we will see all of you guys soon. We will see you in a few weeks for the 5-year anniversary. We'll see you next episode. So take it easy out there.
We will see you.
And have a good one.